Hello, YouTube. I'm your fuzzy friend Luquatious, and today I have something special for you because I lost a 40-hour permadeath save on stream yesterday. I saved the last minute of a clip for all of you if you are following my IG or my Twitter or perhaps my TikTok. So we are going to do an introduction to the start of a permadeath save for No Man's Sky today, because this is what I've been doing on No Man's Sky. I've completed the achievement for getting to the center on permadeath, and I wanted to share with you how to get a good start. Possibly do the entire Artemis quest line in YouTube format. So first we're going to kind of take in our surroundings, look at what our major hazard is. In this case, it's radiation. It's at 5.7. So we're going to be on an irradiated planet. You can tell by the bottom left-hand corner where it gives the stats for the planet, the temperature, radiation, and toxicity. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do, once we finally completely initialize, is I am going to switch to first person by going to utilities and hitting toggle camera view. And then we're going to find a cave, and we spawned right next to one. We're going to crawl up in this little hidey hole, and it's going to cause our hazardous materials protection to go right back up. We're going to wait for that to recharge to full, picking up the carbon that's right in front of us. So that we can maintain a charge on our multi-tool for farming. And then as soon as we're back to full, as far as our hazmat protections are concerned, we're going to start farming ferrite dust to repair our multi-tool scanner, which is going to allow us to find sodium and oxygen. Alright. Oh, that's ferrite dust right there. Super. Got ourselves a nice little start. Alright. And not quite enough. Need to get to 75. That should be it right there. Or not. Gotta love the permadeath resource gains. That's enough. Figure I might as well get one more node. Why not? Hit our scanner, because our next quest is to farm enough sodium to recharge our hazard protections. Go to the nearest node that you can find and just recharge that to full. It ate all of our sodium, so we need to be on the lookout for both sodium and oxygen as we get the next quest to head to our decommissioned Starship. So our scanner recharges a heck of a lot slower on permadeath, so we got to patiently wait for that to fully recharge. And keep our eyes open for oxygen, those lovely things right there. And sodium, which will glow red and yellow respectively. When playing Permadeath, starting out is when you are most fragile. Most creatures can make quick work of you. Very quickly. Most creatures can make quick work of you, so just be careful. Don't start anything with anything until you get shield upgrades and possibly some damage upgrades for your multi-tool. Carbon is very important. Well, at this stage, everything's very important, so feel free to farm on your way to the Starship. There will hopefully be oxygen garden over by the Starship, as there normally is. Ferrite dust is going to be very important, because we're going to need some pure ferrite to fix the launch thrusters. So picking up that as you go is also good to do. Go ahead and check out all the salvage materials that are at the crash site. Got some cheapo oxygen. Nice. Then you hit the distress beacon. That'll start you on the Artemis quest line. Our radiation protections are almost gone. We desperately need either sodium or... There's the oxygen garden I was telling you about. Oftentimes, at a start, they have oxygen right next to your Starship. There's some more sodium over here. We're not going to use it right away. We're going to go ahead and grab it, though. And then we're going to climb in our Starship to let our hazardous materials protection recharge naturally. Because we want to try to conserve as many materials as possible. Plus, we need to come in here to continue on with the quest. Which is going to be to repair our launch thrusters. Oh, I guess pulse engines first, then launch thrusters. So, we need metal plating. Go ahead and toss that into the Starship inventory right here, and bam, repaired. Then we'll just go ahead and wait in here for our next stage of the quest to pop up, which is going to be to right there it is to go to a base and pick up a hermetic seal. Got to come over here. This is going to give us our first map, and it's kind of a tutorial on how maps work. Moving a little too fast for the game. So we got our planetary chart. We're going to go ahead and boot up the planetary chart. And it's going to give us the location for the base that we have to get to in order to get our hermetic seal for the next repair process. Now, on the way there, we are going to be hit by a storm. So either A, we want to make sure we have plenty of sodium, or B, there's a cave, or the final option is we are ready to run back to our Starship and wait out the storm. And more than likely, from the looks of it, we're going to have to run back to our Starship and wait out the storm, because we don't have much in the way of sodium. And this storm is guaranteed to happen. We'll get about a third of the way there, and then the storm will begin. Maybe about a fourth. Regardless, it doesn't take long. There it is. We're gonna turn around and get right back into our ship and wait out the storm. Keep in mind, while you can't get very far on it at this stage in the game, you do have your melee jetpack combo to help increase the speed you're moving. Because this storm will eat our hazmat protections. So, after a couple minutes of either waiting in your ship or waiting in a cave, we'll get a notification that the storm is receding, and that's our cue to go ahead and pop out and start heading towards the destination icon. And on our way there, we want to continuously be scanning whenever it's off cooldown. Keep our eyes open for hazardous plants and move probably not in a straight line, but in a kind of a zigzag line, picking up all the resources we possibly can on the way there. We're going to need some carbon for mining. We're going to need some ferrite dust to finish the ship repairs. And we're going to need sodium and oxygen to maintain our life and hazmat protections. In this case, slow and steady definitely wins the race. Because for one, constantly jumping across the planet is going to eat into our life support. For two, we desperately need a lot of the resources that are available on the way there. So, just trying to make it straight there is probably a bad idea. See, already we're kind of needing to refill our life support. And it's going to be this way until you're able to start building your base resists, which aren't going to really be able to be impacted until you first meet the anomaly and are able to get the exosuit upgrades for improving resistances to the hazardous protections. There is one that you can build early on for life support, which is the oxygen recycler. But unless you have a surplus of oxygen, you really don't want to go ahead and do that. It's only a 10% increase, although it's to the base. It's not going to have as much impact as you might think until you start getting some S-class modules. Oof. Definitely need to keep on a lookout for oxygen and sodium. Oxygen right there. More sodium. If we had found a bigger cave, we probably could have farmed some cobalt, which would have allowed us to build ion batteries. But because we don't have that, where'd that sodium go? Right there. Because we didn't find a large cave, we are unable to do so. Dihydrogen jelly, I believe, is what we need for the life support. Yeah. So go ahead and pick up the dihydrogen when you find it. It'll allow you to make canisters, which will take you from 0 to full on your life support. Right there it is. It's a little bit better than just using the base oxygen to refill your life support. Alright, now we can build dihydrogen jelly. Only one, though, unfortunately. Yeah, no, we can do two. And then we'll be able to build up two of these. Then we can go ahead, seeing as we have a guaranteed way of regenerating our life support in the form of those canisters, we'll be able to go ahead and build the oxygen recycler. I did it kind of quickly because I'm used to messing with the menus here in No Man's Sky. But all I did was hit E on the PC to bring up the build menu. And this was available right here. It's no longer available because you can only have one. And then I just went ahead and put the 60 oxygen into it that it requires for the build. You just always want to make sure you have what you need to be able to survive. Now, moving around at night is really nice because it really allows you to more easily see sodium-rich and oxygen-rich plants as well as hydrogen. Go ahead and hit one of our support gels, and as you can see, we regenerated back to full. We need to come over here, grab these sodium-rich plants, and then head straight over to the base. Probably ignoring the hazardous flora on the way there. Just as quickly as possible. I would prefer not having to use that sodium right at the moment, since we're so close. Just get in the first one you come across, let that regenerate. Look around because you can find navigation data, as well as pick up some early nanites. This is going to give us our hermetic seal for the quest, and a blueprint for the visor upgrade for the multi-tool. Once we're fully recharged, we can start heading back. Keep in mind, you also want to continue grabbing resources that are necessary for survival. This isn't a cave, but it has hazardous flora that normally only exist in caves. So that's a bit odd. And all these are oxygen. Normally, you'll have a few more, there'll be more sodium. There'll be more sodium-rich hazardous flora when they exist in groups like this, but for some reason they just seem to be oxygen-rich, which is unfortunate. Oxygen, there's sodium. Oh, that's a bummer. Alright. That's why we're constantly farming on the way over here, so that we have the resources necessary to be able to maintain our survival. Not exactly sure why this had cave wildlife when it wasn't a cave. Oh, sweet. Sodium right here. It looked like there was more up there. We also need to be building the visor. Just takes one carbon nanotube. And voila. And I mean, it's nice. It is the next part in the quest series. But unless you're totally new to No Man's Sky, then you should be okay with navigating on planets and know exactly where you left your ship. But on the way back, you're going to want to scan everything you can for an initial income. And if you come across things like this right up here, the damaged machinery, make sure you snag them, because nanites are fairly difficult to come by in the early game on Permadeath, because you can't really take risks. When you take risks, you die, because space is dangerous. Yes, we're heading back already. But every scan you do is going to give you income. So make sure you're doing scans. It's that simple. It's easy to do. Doesn't take any resources from you. And it gives you free money. I mean, there's really nothing bad about taking a second or two to start a scan while you continue to walk towards your ship. Except for possibly falling in a hole. That might be bad, but as long as you're aware of your surroundings. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. Oh, maybe not. I feel like I got really lucky there. You really want to be careful using the melee jetpack combo on Permadeath, because when you do, you can start increasing momentum. And if you fall a short distance, if you're going fast enough, it can really do some damage to you at this stage of a Permadeath run. I really don't want to use any more sodium on this planet, so I am going to do my best to get to my Starship without using any more sodium, seeing as we're so close anyway. We are then going to go into our inventory, go to our pulse engine, and install the hermetic seal that we got from the base, which will then throw us into the launch thruster repair. Oof. Really kind of want to wait until our hazmat protections are fully charged. That way we can spend more time getting done what we need to get done, which is getting Dihydrogen Jelly, and building a portable refiner, and upgrading ferrite to pure ferrite. By doing that, those are the required components for the recipe to repair the launch thrusters. Yeah, the launch thrusters. So we need dihydrogen. So we need hydrogen. Oh, this is gonna hurt. See? Barely fell any distance whatsoever and took almost my entire shield's worth of damage. That's what I'm talking about. Permadeath is, your character is 2 to 3 times more sensitive to hazards in the environment than it would normally be on a normal run. While I'm over here, I'm going to go ahead and pick up the sodium, because until we get a bit stronger, we can never have enough of the stuff. Yeah. I'm not too worried about it. Head back to the ship. Where is it? Right there. Alright. Got another scan under the belt. We're going to go ahead, go into our inventory. left click because we're on PC, and build the Dihydrogen Jelly. If we're close enough to the Starship, we can just go ahead and click on that, and bam. Component repaired. Now we're going to need metal plating, which will allow us to build the portable refiner because we have enough oxygen and our metal plating. Having a metal plating and enough oxygen allows us to build the portable refiner. We need carbon, and we're going to end up needing more ferrite dust, unfortunately. So we're going to go farm that real quick. While we're at it, we might as well grab more carbon. Nothing wrong with having a little sodium with our ferrite dust. That's pretty nice, actually. That's another thing that scanning helps with on these planets. When you do a scan, most of these things are going to have a secondary resource that you're able to potentially get when you farm that item in the world. In this case, the things around us are either uranium, which is good for our launch thrusters in the early game before we have a launch thruster recharger. And some of those rocks gave us sodium. So fill up the fuel, and then we need 50 ferrite dust, which is going to give us 50 pure ferrite because they upgrade 1-to-1. So we're going to get that cooking, and we're just going to hop back in so we can, our hazardous protections are going to start recharging. And then once we hear that finish, we'll go ahead and pop out, put the result into our exosuit, exit out, and then break down the portable refiner, which is going to allow us to finish the repairs on our Starship. Wham bam, thank you, officer. And we can take off into space. And once we get out here, we're going to have a short little flight systems tutorial about hitting thruster, which is straightforward, or W on your keyboard. Boost with left shift and space bar to pulse drive. Then we're going to get a new target location within the same system to continue on with the Artemis questline. And once I am going to end this episode, once we get to the signal source, I land and am able to save. But that is essentially the start of No Man's Sky playthrough. Save on Permadeath. So, if you found this helpful, or you enjoyed the content at all, please like and subscribe for future content. And go ahead and hit that bell so that you know whenever I put out a new video. Until then, this has been Luquatious. With a No Man's Sky Permadeath video. I hope you enjoyed it and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.